more and more local governments are taking a stand on the war in Iraq. We've seen this. First of all, would you be willing to agree with a statement coming from the Denver City Council to let your views be known on the war in Iraq? Would you go on record as a council and send that message not only to other communities in the state, but to the governor, and encourage the governor to move from there?
Well, I tell you, as I was walking through the community, it was very interesting. You hear about education, you hear about zoning issues, but I heard a lot about the war. People are pissed off. And I would be willing as a council person to express that, because I think as a nation we have lost a lot of credibility throughout the world because of this misled war. So I would be willing as a council person to state my view on that, and I would hope others would be.
And as a council, not only as a council person, as a person who is considered a progressive candidate, I oppose the war in Iraq. And I would work on an ordinance, I would work on legislation with city council folks, and we'll fight them. Because the majority of people in this city, in this state, in this country are opposed to the war in Iraq. And I'm going back to my American Friends Service Committee stuff here on this. But they are opposed to that. And I cannot run for this office, nor could I be a city council rep and not talk about the war in Iraq. And I am opposed to it, and I will work on legislation to make sure that we as a city, when people look at us as a city, knows that this city council is opposed to this horrible war. And I want to say something else, because there's a question that came up on a website concerning if any of the people running for city council, not this District 8, but all the other districts, they have the experience. We have so-called experienced people in leadership, and Washington, D.C. right now has put us in this quagmire. So think about that. There are people who have been in office for 40 and 50 years doing this and killing our young folks. So I am opposed to that war, and I hope that if you're not, you can talk to me at the end of this, and I can convince you that you will be opposed to it too.
I think that's a valid question, Pat, and I oppose the war. I share a little secret, and I haven't shared this in this campaign. My brother was in the Persian Gulf War, the first war, and I was born October 18, 1969. He's born October 20th, 1968. So we pretty much were twins. I mean, we grew up together. We knew each other. From a Virgin Islands, from St. Thomas, very peaceful, serene, beautiful island. He went to war directly from after leaving high school. He went to the Persian Gulf, and with coming back, we knew that there were things that, I mean, he made it back, and we knew there were things about him that changed. He was depressed. He couldn't keep a job. He's usually a pretty affable guy, and his whole personality changed. After a few years, he actually committed suicide. So the question about support for the war or non-support for the war isn't a political thing for me. It's something that's very tough on my family, and so I do not support this war. As a city council person, I would use whatever bully pulpit I have to express my complete utter disgust with what we're doing. And it's not only the young men and women who die there, it's those who come back broken, and those who will never be whole again.